Okay, questions and answers on sulfur and sulfuric acid. So let's take a look at the first question. Why is sulfur dioxide added to jam? Which of these, what is sulfur dioxide? We said sulfur dioxide acts as a what? A bleaching agent, reducing agent, acidic gas? No, it's a preservative that destroys unwanted bacteria and enzymes. Which row shows the conditions for manufacture of sulfuric acid? Do you remember the conditions for manufacture of sulfuric acid? Which pressure? It is 2. To make sulfuric acid in the contact process, the pressure is 2, temperature is 450, and the catalyst is vanadium. Okay, sulfur is needed for production of sulfuric acid. Two of the major sources of sulfur are underground deposits and sulfur compounds from natural gas. Okay, explain why sulfur and its compounds are removed from fuels before they are burnt. Remember we said fuels usually have sulfur impurities. Why should they be removed? Because when burnt it forms sulfur dioxide that causes acid rain, and then you mentioned something about the effects of acid rain, dissolves buildings, kills marine animals. Okay, so sulfur dioxide is made by spraying molten sulfur into air. So just why molten sulfur is used in the form of a fine spray? This has to do with the rate. Do you remember when we said we use a reactant in small pieces, not big pieces? Because the fine spray is larger surface area, more particles collide, so faster reaction. Explain why traces of sulfur dioxide act as a preservative. We said why does it act as a preservative? Because it kills harmful bacteria. State another use of sulfur dioxide besides being a preservative. We said we use it for what? Bleaching wood pulp. Okay, describe how sulfur dioxide is changed into sulfur trioxide and give the conditions and an equation. How is sulfur dioxide changed into sulfur trioxide? We said burning in air, so sulfur dioxide plus oxygen is sulfur trioxide. And we said what are the conditions? Temperature 450 degrees centigrade, pressure 280 m, catalyst vanadium oxide V2O5. And then complete the equation for formation of sulfuric acid from sulfur trioxide. We said, what do we do to the sulfur trioxide to change it to sulfuric? We first add a little bit of sulfuric, so that forms oleum. And then we dilute the oleum with a little bit of water to form sulfuric acid. Okay, describe how oleum is made from sulfur. So he wants you to start with sulfur, end with oleum. Give the equations and reaction conditions. So, sulfur, first of all, burns in air to form sulfur dioxide. And you give the equation. And then sulfur dioxide burns in air to form sulfur trioxide. Conditions, 450 degrees centigrade, 280 m pressure, V2O5 catalyst. And you give the equation. And then the sulfur trioxide is added to concentrated sulfuric acid, and that is what forms oleum H2S2O7. Then he's saying how is concentrated sulfuric acid made from the oleum? This is by slowly diluting the oleum or adding water. Okay. Food additive is sulfur dioxide. It is a preservative. State 2 other uses of sulfur dioxide. So he already mentioned that it is a preservative. Please do not repeat the same one that he gives. Okay. So he's saying state 2 other uses of sulfur dioxide. We use it mainly to make sulfuric acid, and we also use it for bleaching wood pulp. How is sulfur dioxide manufactured? How do we get sulfur dioxide gas? Burning sulfur in air. Sulfur dioxide is a reducing agent. Describe what you would see when aqueous sulfur dioxide is added to potassium permanganate. We said potassium permanganate is an oxidizing agent. When it reacts with something, then that something is a reducing agent. What is the original color of potassium manganate? You should remember that it is purple, and when it reacts, it changes from purple to colorless. Okay, here he's giving the contact process. The forward reaction is exothermic. He's giving you the conditions. Again, he's saying explain, mentioning both position of equilibrium and rate, why these conditions give the most economic yield. Why are these the best conditions? Just as we did for the Haber process previously, we are going to discuss here. So here the temperature is 450. Now, why aren't we using lower temperatures? Because lower temperature will cause the rate to be too slow. Why aren't we using higher temperatures? Because the forward is exothermic, so higher temperature will cause the equilibrium to shift to the left since it is endothermic. So this would give less yield of sulfur trioxide. Now, the pressure is at 2 atm. Lower pressure favors backward reaction to give more molecules. So I don't want it to be at lower pressure, I want it to be at higher pressure. Now, but too much pressure would be more expensive. Catalyst, of course, catalyst speeds up the reaction. Okay, major use of sulfur dioxide is to manufacture sulfuric acid. Another use of sulfuric acid, of sulfur dioxide, is as food additive. How does it preserve food? We said it preserves food because it kills bacteria. Why is sulfur dioxide used in the manufacture of wood pulp? We said we use it to do what to the wood pulp? To bleach the wood pulp. How is sulfur dioxide manufactured? How do we make sulfur dioxide? Burning sulfur in air. Okay, complete the description. Sulfur dioxide reacts with what to form trioxide? With oxygen. The above reaction is catalyzed by, so this is the contact process from sulfur dioxide plus oxygen to give sulfur trioxide. What was the catalyst? Vanadium oxide, or V2O5. What was the temperature? 450. Sulfur trioxide needs to react with what to form sulfuric acid? Remember that we said basically it can react directly with water to form sulfuric acid, but we do it in a roundabout way as we explained. Okay, that's the end of it. This is the last slide in our course. So the rest you have to do quizzes in order to be able to determine whether you have absorbed all of this information or not. Okay, good luck.